Hello everybody, Wulf and EJ Smith here at the Jefferson Health Training Complex after the Eagles' third practice of training camp. We've got injury news, we've got details on what happened in practice. EJ, good to see you.
It's good to see you too.
Give us the scoop to start.
Yeah, so there were a couple of notable absences at practice today. Jihaad Campbell and Lane Johnson were both excused. It was a non-injury related absence. I've seen that Jihaad Campbell was actually at graduation at Alabama today.
Big flex, love that.
It's a great reason to miss a practice.
Yes.
If you're going to miss a practice, that's a great reason to do so. So you got the full list here.
Taquan Graham, Elijah Moore, also excused, not injury related. Cam Williams, who suffered an injury at practice a couple days ago. Knee contusion, did not practice, and Cole Wisniewski did not practice with a hamstring injury. But Lane was interesting, especially because first 2 days of practice, Markel Bell was the backup right tackle. In the spring, he was the guy taking the first team reps. Did he do it again?
He did not. He was playing left tackle with the second team. It was Fred Johnson at right tackle with the first team, which is notable because I think that is. It's a small competition. I think that there's a chance that Markel Bell could overtake Fred Johnson by the end of camp, but as things stand right now, like they are in day one install, Fred Johnson was the first one up.
It could have also just been the case that they were flipping sides today anyway, like unrelated to Lane, and that's just how it played out. It's possible. 2 injuries suffered during practice. Keyshawn James Newby, the rookie 7th round pick, left during team drills, went to the tent, did not return. And then on the final play of the play for the developmental period for the guys at the bottom of the roster, rookie guard Jaden Roberts suffered what looked like a serious left leg injury and was carted off the field. Yeah, that's a tough one. It was literally the final play. I don't know if it would have been the final play, but it's one where you end practice, the horn sounds, and those are always really sad. All the injuries are sad, obviously, this time of year, but an undrafted guy trying to make a roster, that's a really tough blow. All right, let's talk big picture player of the day. I'll give you Fran Duffy's first. He jetted out of here. I know. But let us know. Jalyx Hunt is his player of the day. Everybody seems to be coming on board with your boy Bo Wulf. Yeah. This could be the year of Jalyx, and Jalyx did have a big day today. It was a good day for your guys in general. I agree. I think Jalyx Hunt was the player of the day today. I think Jalen Carter. So 2 for Jalyx Hunt. I think Jalen Carter can get an honorable mention. I think that the duo of those two, in particular, you probably would give them 5, 6 sacks today. Jalyx Hunt had 3, minimum 3. And Jalen Carter was in the backfield a lot. But yeah, Jalyx Hunt, both sides, mostly against Fred Johnson. Yeah, this is interesting because just like those guys flipped sides, today Jalyx and Nolan Smith mostly flipped sides where Jalyx was working on the left and Nolan was working off the right. Yeah, so Jalyx did most of his damage against Fred Johnson, which is noteworthy, but he had a couple good rushes against Mailata, and he has had good rushes against Mailata this summer. So yeah, I've seen it out there. We've talked about it on the show. Buy your Jalyx Hunt stock now. I think you framed it very well on our Friday show that Jalyx Hunt, his ceiling is one of the cornerstones along with Jalen Carter, Cooper DeJean, and Quinyon Mitchell. I think we're seeing the flashes here this summer. I really do. All right, so you got 2 votes for Jalyx Hunt. Yeah. Who am I going to give it to then? Now, quickly on Jalen Carter, as you said, very active in the backfield. Also had a bunch of pass breakups, at least 2 of Jalen Hurts in the team period. I will give one to a down the roster player. Okay. There's 2 guys who I kind of want to give it to. I'm going to save one because there's a possibility of a Camp Crush developing. Interesting. So I'm going to give it, this is one. The guy was all over the place. I think he had 10 catches today. Yeah. Britton Covey had a monster day today. He's had a couple good practices. Britton Covey is probably not going to make this team, but on the side field with the 2s, and even with Jalen Hurts, he had like 10 catches. He knows how to work in his zone. There was one play where Jalen made a nice throw to him. He had him drop. And he sort of bobbled it, and then as he was hauling it in, Tariq Woolen knocked it out. But an active day for Britton Covey. Shout out to Britton Covey getting on the leaderboard. The receivers down the depth chart in general, because Darius Cooper's had a couple of nice days too. I agree. I turned to Fran, as good as Britton Covey has been, I turned to Fran at one point during practice today and just said, Darius Cooper is so, just far and away the fifth best receiver on the team. Obviously, your top 4 is established. Yeah, you could make a case over Hollywood Brown. I think you can make that case. I really do. Hollywood Brown seemed professional to me, at least. So I want to give him his space at number 4. But yeah, Darius Cooper's had a really good camp. Yeah. He's made a bunch of nice catches. He's been involved. So yeah, I'm encouraged by the way that Darius Cooper's looked this summer. All right, let's ping pong back a few more takeaways from today. Give me one of yours. So outside of Jalen Carter and Jalyx Hunt, one of my big takeaways today is just the back end of the defense in tandem with that pass rush, which is there's just not a lot of airspace. It's not one guy in particular. It is the group
overall. It's Quinyon Mitchell, Reek Woolen, Drew Makuba, Marcus Epps when he's in there. But even the second team, the third team, their secondary just seems really, really well drilled so far through camp.
I think that's right. We continue to see a bunch of rotation there. Marcus Epps getting the lion's share of the work at safety with the ones next to Drew Makuba. But every now and then you see Michael Carter in there. You see Jonathan Jones in there. Mac McWilliams got a couple reps there today. So that continues to be a work in progress. With no Jihaad Campbell, Jeremiah Trotter Jr. got all the reps with the ones, looked good. And a really nice pass breakup on a sort of third read throw from Jalen to Saquon Barkley. You have been a big Jeremiah Trotter Jr. guy. He's had a good camp.
Yeah, he is just solid whenever they call his number. I think Jihaad Campbell's ceiling is quite clearly defined, much higher than Jeremiah Trotter Jr., but whenever he plays, he's been fine. He's been solid. So
we can talk a little offensive line depth chart notes here because this is why I wonder if the Markel Bell, Fred Johnson switch was part of a larger plan, because we saw a few different rotations with the backup offensive lineman today.
Yeah.
Drew Kendall worked as the second team center. We have not seen him work at center at all, not in the spring.
They had a Jake Majors problem.
They had a Jake Majors problem, so he was the second team center. Also got a couple reps in place of Landon Dickerson, just sort of giving him a spell with the ones at left guard. So Drew Kendall is your top interior backup offensive lineman right now. Jake Majors moved to left guard. Micah Morris got a couple reps with the twos over Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan also got some reps in there. Markel Bell at left tackle, and John Ojukwu, a player to potentially keep an eye on at second team right tackle.
Yeah, but the Drew Kendall one was the big one, because I saw Chris Cooper gesture over for him to come into the periphery of that first team offense. And about 5 or 6 plays later, he was getting some reps. So it wasn't the type of thing where Landon Dickerson was hurt. It was just maybe they wanted to give him a couple reps off, and they had Drew Kendall in mind for those reps.
How did you feel about Jalen Hurts today?
It was an up and down day for the offense. The thing that I actually took note of with the passing game overall is this was clearly like a third down install type day.
Yeah.
I think we've seen the bones of what they expect to do on early downs. They're in the shotgun a lot more today. It looked a little bit more familiar. I don't think that this is like on third down they're just going to do what Jalen wants type of situation, but I think it is logical. It's like when the play action's out the window, when you're not really trying to have this married run and pass game, it is going to look a little bit more comfortable for Jalen Hurts in the shotgun. We saw some RPOs today in addition to that, so I thought it was cool to see what their third down plan is.
It was not as crisp
the base
as the offense has been the first couple of days, because they probably have not repped this stuff as much, and it's also, frankly, you're putting the offense in a more difficult position.
Yeah, and you're playing against a good secondary, and a good pass rush.
It was a compete period on third down. Defense won 8-4, I believe. Now that counts the first team and the second team.
Yeah.
Good completion of Tay Wicks.
Yeah.
Tight completion. Couple good completions to DeVonta Smith. I also think you are seeing Jalen Hurts work with all of the receivers. Like Elijah Moore had a nice catch at one point today. So it is cascading down the group as a whole.
Yeah. But overall, I think that after an encouraging first practice from the offense, we've seen just how good this defense is in the next two. And I don't think it's necessarily so much a reflection of the offense as it is just really, really sound coverage and a good pass rush.
I am just looking through to make sure we're not forgetting anything. We are forgetting at least one thing.
Yeah, I know what you're going to go with. Let me get one in really quick.
Okay.
It's still early. I want to qualify it with it is still early, but I would say like the Eli Stowers experience is still underwhelmed. You're seeing a lot of guys get rotated into the first team ahead of him. EJ Jenkins got some reps with the ones today. Cam Latu got some reps with the ones. Grant Calcaterra has been working with the first team. So, you haven't seen much of Eli Stowers with the starters. And even with the second and the third team, he hasn't had very many bright moments. He had a drop today. And, just generally, I want to see more juice from him as a pass catcher. The blocking, I understand that's a work in progress, but we haven't seen it really even as a receiver from him.
He did have a couple catches on the side field when they were doing split work, ones over here and twos over and threes over here from Andy Dalton. So I was encouraged to see that. But with the larger group, he was working against Mac McWilliams a couple times, and Mac McWilliams had 2 straight pass breakups against him. I think arrow up for Mac McWilliams.
Oh, he's had a good camp so far.
But I think you're right. It is clear that right now Stowers is not part of the starting offense. They are developing him.
Yeah. All right, let's do this. I know what you want to say.
What a great throw from Cole Payton today. Another one.
He's looked good. He has looked good. What I said. Are you gonna give him the gold jacket now?
Well, the thing is, by the time he gets to Canton, the measurements are going to be different, so they don't need to fit him for the jacket.
He's going to bulk up. He's going to add some weight. Yeah. Cole Payton has looked good. He is a competent rookie quarterback.
The truly more notable thing about the Cole Payton experience so far is that he is getting more reps than we are used to seeing the number 4 quarterback get.
That's a great point. It's because they can trust him. You know, they know it's going to look okay when he's out there. Opposite of the Clayton Thorson and especially the Carson Strong experience, where it's like, we can't practice with you at quarterback. He has been the inverse.
It's also interesting because it comes at the expense of Dalton and McKee getting reps. They just rotate as the number 2, drill by drill, and then they don't make up for those reps. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a good point.
It's an odd. We'll ask Nick Sirianni about that on Monday.
Yeah, but Cole Payton's a developmental quarterback, so it makes sense that he's got.
All right, last thing. Anything from? We talked to Sean Mannion before practice today. Talked to a couple players, including Mekhi Lemon. What were your takeaways?
I think the biggest thing, like if you're watching this and you're like, what's the one thing I need to know? Landon Dickerson was very honest about his season last year and about the fact that if he could do it over again, he would not come back from the meniscus injury and be ready for week 1 like he was. You know, he said he would not, if he could do it over again, he basically said he wouldn't come back hastily. I think his words were, they don't pay you to be hurt. They don't pay you
to be injured.
Yeah, they don't pay you to be injured. And I thought that was really illuminating. You know, he's always been someone who's a little coy about playing through injuries. He kind of is, you know, has a great reputation for playing, you know, gutting it out. And I think he's starting to realize that if it affects your play, it's not necessarily a positive for the team. So I think, like, you know, maybe that could raise some alarm bells, but I actually think it's a positive thing that Landon is like, if I'm healthy, I'll play, and if I'm not going to be able to be myself, I'll let somebody who can be in there instead.
Especially if you are gutting it out at the detriment of you getting to be healthier long term.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, week 1, you don't need, and I think we were saying this at the time.
Yeah, it's like,
why are we doing
I remember
this?
saying this. Yeah, it's like, why are they rushing him back? So I think that he's not going to rush back if he gets hurt this year. Maybe, you know, hopefully he stays healthy. I thought he looked slimmer, but he said that he said when someone asked him if he lost weight, he said no more than a big trip to the bathroom. So
there you go. Good place to end it. Let us know what you think about everything that's going on with the Eagles in the comments. We will be back with a regular show on Monday, 2 o'clock. Eagles hit the practice field Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday next week. Camp is fully in gear. For EJ Smith, I'm Wulf. Thanks for watching.